guys, and welcome back to Opal&Mint. I am Ashley, and today I'm going to talk about, surprise, watercolor. Why has watercolor become so popular in the last 5 to 10 years? We're going to dive in today and talk about why watercolor is gaining popularity, and if you are not currently painting in watercolor, why you should, no matter if you're an artist or not. We're going to talk about the fantastic, beautiful, mesmerizing art that is watercolor. All right, so first of all, if you are not already a watercolor artist, what do most people first think when they think watercolors? They think kids paint, they think Crayola, they think kids playing with water and paint, but watercolor is a beautiful medium for art. It is something that's very popular in the artist world. It's in a lot of children's illustrations. It's in a lot of clothing, a lot of watercolor patterns. So watercolor is literally everywhere. Unlike oil paints and acrylic paints, I feel like, in my personal opinion, watercolors are a little bit more, I don't want to say accessible. That's not the word. As far as oil paints and watercolors, I feel like watercolors are a little bit more accessible than oil paints. Way more user-friendly than oil paints. Less toxic with the fumes and stuff. A lot of people are familiar with acrylic painting. Acrylic paint is in so many different things, but watercolor has this special mesmerizing quality that anybody can paint with it. You don't have to make a masterpiece to paint with watercolor. The magic of watercolor is actually in the act of painting with watercolors. So one of the reasons I think watercolor has blown up, especially since 2020, something happened there that caused a lot of stress. Watercolor is a huge stress reliever. It is a huge therapeutic outlet. Is a therapeutic tool. That's what I'm looking for. Whether you're painting a masterpiece or not, whether you know what you're doing or not, you can pick up watercolor and have a good time. You can enjoy the colors just flowing across the page. You can do abstracts, you can paint florals, you can paint anything. You can go anywhere from super loose, abstract, flattering water all over the page to super fine detailed paintings. So it's great for anybody from very beginner all the way to a master painter. Watercolor is amazing. Another thing about watercolors that I think draws a lot of people in, there's so many different types. With acrylic paint, it's all acrylic paint. There are different quality levels of acrylic paint, yes, but acrylic paint is acrylic paint. Watercolor, there's so many different finishes, so many different brands and styles. There's handmade watercolors. So many people sell handmade watercolors. There's metallics and shimmeries and chunky glitters. And the fact that watercolor is transparent opens up new possibilities that acrylic does not offer, and as well as oil painting. Watercolor is so much less, I'm going to say it's less messy than acrylic and oil. I still manage to get paint on me when I'm painting, but it washes right off. I can sit on my couch with my watercolors and not be super worried that I'm going to stain everything. I travel with my painting all the time. I will sit in my car and paint, and it's so much easier to take this style of painting out and paint at a flower garden or just on a picnic or in a museum or wherever. It's so much easier sitting in a doctor's office waiting on tests to be done. So many tests. But I can just pop out my watercolors, paint a little bit, close it back up, and put it in my bag. I can't really do that with acrylics, and I definitely wouldn't be able to do that with oil painting. So it's accessible, it's easy to travel, it's user-friendly, it's beautiful and mesmerizing. I think just using watercolors as a therapeutic tool alone, everybody should try it. And I've had friends and family watercolor with me. They don't know what they're doing, but they have a blast. Since watercolor is transparent and it moves in water, you can have these gorgeous granulating paints, which granulating paints are paints that have pigments that are bigger, heavier, more dense, more whatever, that settle into grooves of the paper. So it's not just, they have an unpredictability, and they make you just let go and just put the brush to the paper and let the paint do what it wants. I have traditionally been a very, very perfectionist, As soon as I started watercoloring, I realized it's going to do magical things on its own. I don't have to micromanage it. I don't have to place a brush stroke and know exactly that. It will do what it wants to do, especially when you're using lots of water and you're doing washes, and with granulating paints that separate into two different colors, or you're bumping two colors into each other and they just explode. They're gonna do what they want, and that is so freeing. I don't have to be so perfect with it. It's gonna be pretty. Another amazing thing about watercolor is the watercolor community here on YouTube. There are so many beautiful and fantastic artists on here. There's so many that, like me, aren't even professional artists. We just love watercolor and want to share it with the world and share our experiences and products. And it's just a wonderful community. Everybody is always commenting and interacting, and you see people from one YouTuber to a next. You see the same people in comments. You have conversations. The watercolor community on YouTube is fantastic. So if you watch a few videos, go into the comments and see conversations, people interacting, especially with lives. I've never done a live personally, but I like watching the watercolor lives because you get to interact with other amazing painters in the community. So why should you start watercoloring in 2025 if you have not painted? I wanted this video to go up in January, but for health reasons, I haven't been able to film it. So it's still in the beginning-ish of the year. I can still say start in 2025. You can get started relatively inexpensively. I highly suggest just grabbing a palette. This is like a $20 palette. It's a student grade. It's Winsor & Newton Cotman. This is the palette I started with, and I have not run out of paint in it. I don't use it anymore because I have so many other paints, but I use this exclusively for like 2 years. And so it doesn't take a lot of paint. You just need $20 for this. Grab a brush. You can get those on Amazon inexpensively. You can start with one brush. You don't have to have a whole collection. And then get some paper and start painting. You can start out with cheap paper if you don't have the budget, or you can get some cotton paper. I'll link down below some of my favorites for getting started in painting. Some brushes, paints, papers I recommend. But easy to get started. You can travel with it. It is amazing if you're stressed out. Just sit down and put color to a page. Just do a whole page of stones. Just do a whole page of leaves or petals, or just the act of putting that brush to the paper and watching the paint do its thing is so mesmerizing and relaxing. So I hope that with my videos and the other videos here on YouTube, you can learn how to relax, enjoy painting, whether you're trying to paint a masterpiece or not. I hope that you discover the magic of watercolor. Let me know down in the comments below, are you already painting? How many years have you been painting? And why did you get started in painting? For me, I have a video on my watercolor journey. I will link it if you want to know my backstory of how I started into watercolors, because I did start in 2020. But that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you dive into watercolor. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps our channel out. And if you haven't already and you want to see our future mesmerizing, gorgeous watercolor videos, hit that subscribe button down below. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Is that a cohesive video? I don't really know. We'll find out when I edit it. Do you see how pretty watercolor is? Why would you not want to watercolor? It's just so much fun. Go paint. I promise you'll enjoy it. Do you see how I just touch color and it, look at the blends. Look at those gorgeous. It's just so pretty. So pretty. I probably flashed it on the screen as I was doing it. My husband painted the other day. I hope that you have a fantastic... Why do I say fantastic all the time in this video? Leaving. And... oh shoot, it left my brain. Is this video gonna come together? I don't know. My brain. I cannot think. Why is my brain dumb? Not levels. Yes, levels. Qualities. But why? But why? Oh, why is this harder than I thought? The battery's flashing and it's pressuring me. Therapeutic. I was on a train track and I just derailed. and find, it's fine. Just stop talking, Ashley.